Warning, I'm just having fun with old cars. I hope you get some tips and a good laugh from watching, but don't do what I do on your projects. What is up, everybody? This week's episode of Rusty's Speed and Custom, we get the S10 running. Woo! Don't lie, did I get you? Maybe, maybe not. That was not this truck. In case you're wondering, it was that truck. Surprise. Obviously, maybe not obviously if you're new here, this truck doesn't run, and it's a very long ways from running. But we're going to start working on that today. So hang tight. Let me show you what we're working on. Just in case you're new here, because I know we got some new subscribers. So, and you haven't seen it, I've done a few videos about this truck, but kind of reintroduce it real quick. This is my 91 model S10 truck. Obviously standard cab, short bed deal. And we're gonna do exactly what everybody else does and put a V8 in it because I don't know, I think it'd be pretty fun. So let's go on a walk. Normally I would cut all this out, but why not? Obviously the weather sucks today, and the truck is way back there and my work area is way up here. So we're not directly working on the truck today. However, I have been buying parts and trying to get ready to start working on it. And so far, surprise, it's getting an LS motor. Hopefully. Yeah, we'll kind of go into a little bit more of this as we get working. The goal for today, if you will, is I need to figure out where to stand so the camera doesn't look stupid. We're gonna strip this deal down, try and clean it up. I went to the dollar store, got some oven cleaner, so we're gonna try and get it cleaned up today, and then at the same time I'll kind of go over some of the parts that I've gathered up because you know, credit card company's gonna come looking for them pretty soon, so I better get them installed so they can't take them back. And yeah, we'll kind of figure out our game plan, if you will. Okay, I don't know how the sound is gonna be because stupid birds won't shut up. So whatever. I'm sorry if you hear a lot of birds chirping. The first thing we're gonna do is get this mess off of here. I am not reusing any of this harness. That's part of the reason, because someone cut it off. So it's fine. I actually did not plan on using it anyway. So now I can just cut all these connectors off instead of fighting with them like I would have done. Ta-da! Unplug this. I don't know what that does. This one's already broken. This one's already broken also. So that's good. That's irrelevant, but we'll disconnect it anyway. Where does of course there's a bolt. So, a little bit about this motor, at least what I know, which is not a lot. It came out of a Chevy Express van. It's a 4.8, which is, you know, not the motor that everybody wants, but it is cheap. So I got this deal for $400. I don't know. I don't know if it was a good deal, but based on what I've been looking at trying to find one, it's not a terrible deal. Unless it doesn't run, you know, that presents a different set of problems. But we're just gonna hope that it does. Unhook these injectors. A lot of the stuff on this motor is gonna get replaced. Because I kind of have my own ideas of how I want to run this thing. It's not going to be... Basically what's going on is I wanted that S10 to be like a real long-term project. And to be perfectly honest, we found out a couple months ago that my wife is pregnant with our first child, and I'm extremely excited about it. But, and I'm not saying this as a bad thing, because I really don't care. But I do know that with that is going to come less time and money for my cars, which is perfectly fine. I could, honestly, I'll rolling things down a cliff. That's just where my priorities are at. So, but in saying that, I'm going to try my best to get that thing running before our little one gets here. Because I know that after it's going to be tough for a little while. So, in saying that, instead of waiting and trying to buy exactly the right parts of what I want and whatever, we're I'm not gonna say we're gonna cut corners, but we're gonna do what we have to do to try and get it running as fast as possible, so that it'll just make it easier. And who knows? I might end up selling this thing, and if I did, it would be a lot easier to do running. So that's kind of where I'm at with it. Luckily, my wife is still very understanding, and she's kind of on board with my plan, for now at least. So I'm gonna be this is gonna be a very tight budget build, but I also don't want it to be complete garbage when it gets done. So we're gonna try and find a happy medium and maybe get us a hot rod on the road. Because if you guys haven't noticed, until stuff gets on the road, it's very hard for me to be fully dedicated to it. So, now that you know my plan on that, I need to figure out, let me move you guys around a little bit. We're gonna pull the AC pump off this thing. Not really sure how I'm gonna get this fan off. probably need to take the power steering off. Yeah. Just hang tight, and I'm gonna strip a bunch of the accessories off of this thing, and then we'll get it cleaned up, and maybe we can start putting some new parts on it. Okay, well, did a little time lapse, and I kind of got this thing stripped down to where I want it for trying to get it clean, which is going to be a job because it is disgusting. But yeah, so I was just about to pull the valve covers off, and I figured why not show you guys at the same time as me, because I have not seen anything on the inside of this motor yet. I did screw with the fan for a while. Could not figure out how to get it off without either destroying something or I don't know. I need one of those like leather belt holdy leverage things. And I don't have one. So that's the only thing I can think of that would help me in that case. Anyway, no big deal. We'll leave it on for now. At some point, I'll have to get it off. Maybe I'll just cut it off like a responsible person. But let's pull these valve covers off. Kind of get an idea of what the inside of this motor looks like. The guy I bought it from, he did pull it out of the wrecked van himself. So what he told me, at least, seemed like a pretty trustworthy guy. But you know how that stuff goes. I want to say he told me it had like 148,000, which is right in the range of what everyone says on Marketplace. So, you know, it is what it is. He did say that he heard it run and everything, so I don't know. We'll just have to see what happens. But let me do the old spinaroo on the camera, and we'll pull these valve covers off and see if I wasted $400 or not. So yeah, here we go. Okay, I really have not looked under these yet. I just took everything off so it would be prepared for this. Oh, that bolt is not all the way out. Eh, boy. Let's see. Probably should have left those on. There's a lot of sludge buildup on this side. You can see the inside of the valve cover. Sorry, I'm trying to look. I'm not paying attention to the camera. You know, whatever. It looks like a high mileage work van motor that probably didn't get the oil changed enough. So let's go see what the other side looks like. And then I'm gonna bolt those back down and pretend I didn't look at any of it. Reveal number 2. And more of the same. You guys can probably see a little better on this side. There's a lot of sludge in there, which is fine, I guess. Not ideal, but if you go like this, you don't have to look at it anymore. So, you know, it's not great, but Whatever. It is what it is. We're gonna have to pull the pan off, so we'll kind of look at that. Obviously, change your oil. Because if you don't, it just sludges up all through the motor, and looks like that. So it'll probably still be fine, at least for what I'm gonna use it for. Uh, yeah, I'm gonna get on that disappointing note. Oh well, it is what it is. I'm going to get kind of set up to where we can clean this thing. I really don't want to get oil and stuff all over my carport, so I'm gonna see if I can rig up something where we can catch most of it and get to work cleaning this thing. So hang on, let me do all that stuff. Bye. All right, who's ready? This is my ground protection plan, if you will, except for my cardboard, just blue, whatever, it's fine. This is it wasn't supposed to be soapy water, but it's kind of soapy water. And the cheapest oven cleaner I could find. You know, go to the dollar store, which is a lie because this was like $4 a can. I see you guys, and you're lying to everyone. Anyway, I'm not salty about it, I swear. Also, quick plug to myself. Uh, I've had, full disclosure, I've had this motor for like 2 or 3 weeks. I just, you know, life and stuff. But I whipped up this little throttle body cover. Boom! Slip fit. That'll seal that up while we're cleaning it. Maybe I'll add those to my other block off plates that I have on my Shopify. Oh, we got a race car. We got a S10 Blazer. That's stock, but it does a little peel out. Anyway, yeah, that'll be on my Shopify store. Check it out. First link in the description. Got hats and some exhaust block offs for small block Chevy, carburetor block offs for anything with a 4-barrel carb, uh, throttle body block offs, carburetor caps. Also, I believe there's going to be some mugs on there for sale also. So, random plug in the middle of the video, but check that out if you're interested in any, of that stuff. Yeah, and help me pay off my credit card debt. Yeah. Yeah, so that's my plan. Okay. Hey. Full disclosure, it's been a couple hours. And I have just been cleaning and cleaning and then doing some more cleaning. And I I think I pretty much got to the point of we'll call it diminishing returns. Uh, I could clean for another day probably and get it really nice, but it doesn't look too bad the way it is. So we're gonna roll with it for now. Um, there's still a lot of work to be done, so there's a good chance that I will be back to cleaning this again at some point. But uh, you know, cleaning is not as cool as bolting on new shiny stuff. So we're gonna just do that and pretend that we've cleaned it perfectly. Also, if you can't tell, the weather still sucks. Uh, we've had, I don't know, 2 or 3 rainstorms in between the last time I updated you. I apparently have black stuff all over my face, so that's fine. Um, yeah, so I'm going to show you where we're at on the motor side of things, and then show you some of the new parts that I've got, and we're going to try and put some of them on. Okay, well, here it is. Um, my plan kind of worked. My driveway is not terrible. Don't mind the cardboard boxes. We'll get to those in a minute. I did go ahead and take the intake manifold off so I could clean down here in the valley and stuff. Like I said, uh, it's still dirty, but it's not as dirty. I still got, that's the power steering pump and alternator bracket and some other stuff that's gonna need to be cleaned, but we'll get to that. I feel decently good about how this looks. The block is all cleaned up. I didn't even try and clean the oil pan because, well, you'll see why here in just a second. Most of you probably already know why. But yeah, the block's cleaned up pretty good. I guess we'll just go through some of the stuff that I've got over here. This, I'm gonna take all the stuff out when I put it on, obviously. But we've got a swap oil pan with a pickup tube and a dipstick thing, and there's a windage tray in there. I hope. I guess I should have waited on this till last, but surprise, we're putting a carburetor on it. So here's a carburetor intake and S10 swap headers. So now that you've seen that, one thing I didn't show is I was able to pick up the ignition control box off of Marketplace. I got it with the wire and harness for 200 bucks, which seems like a good deal as long as it works. And I still have the 750 I took off of the C10, which will end up on this. So that kind of covers fuel and ignition. All of this stuff, if I can remember, I'll put links to all this stuff in the description. I literally pretty much bought all the cheapest stuff you can buy. So, you know, that's definitely going to bite me at some point. It is what it is. I tried to, even though it's the cheap, like pretty much most of it's the cheapest stuff you can buy, it's, sorry, there's a little girl just staring at me. That's fine. Yeah, anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, even though it is pretty much the cheapest stuff you can get, I did try and find stuff that looked halfway decent. I don't know. We'll see. We're going to learn together how bad this stuff is. But I'm trying to decide what order I'm going to do this stuff. I think I'm going to put you guys up and we'll zip off these here comes the wind again. It's great. Then I'm gonna set you guys up and zip off the exhaust manifolds and probably break all the bolts off, because you know, LS exhaust manifolds. And then it doesn't have any oil on the dipstick, so I'm just gonna cross my fingers and pull that oil pan down and hope that it's not full of oil. And then we'll just kind of start piecing this stuff together, kind of see where it goes. Okay. Why were these loose already? That's not good. That one's definitely cross-threaded. Go ahead and pull the dipstick bolt out while we're here, because it just makes sense. For some reason, it's got one new bolt in it. That's probably not a good thing, if I had to guess. This one was definitely cross-threaded. Yep. That'll be a future me problem. I am surprised none of them broke. I have a feeling somebody's been in here before, would be my guess. Also, it's entirely possible that these might get reused, depending on how the headers fit. How does this come off of here? Like that, I guess. Okay. Maybe pull this out while we're here. Come on. You can do it. Every time. Does not appear to be oil on the dipstick, which is fine. I'm actually okay with that. Now, let's go do the other side. Okay. Got those off. Okay. I don't know what you guys can see, but we're just gonna, is that missing a bolt? Nope. We're just gonna work our way around here and kind of try not to drop this. Would be the main goal. There's the last bolt, just like I planned it. Oh boy. Well, more sludge, so that's good. Okay, Uh, Hi. I don't know what you can see of me or the motor. That's fine. Um, I went ahead and flipped it over because uh, it just seemed easier. This thing's been sitting and obviously didn't have very much oil in it, so I'm not too worried about flipping it over. It has leaked a little bit of coolant, which is fine. We're gonna go ahead and zip off these. We're gonna zip off the windage tray and the pickup tube, which, let's start with the pickup tube. Pull this off. More sludge. Also, I apologize for all the wind noise. There's nothing I can do about it. The weather sucks today, and I don't have a garage. So, I do apologize you have to listen to the wind. I also apologize you have to listen to me talk all the time. So, it is what it is. Those wiggle. Those wiggle. I did check to make sure this thing turned over. It's still got plugs in it. Let me show you what this looks like. So you can still see there's quite a bit of garbage on there. Down in here, that's not really what you want to see, but that's what I got. So I am not gonna really mess with any of this. One thing you want to check is you don't want these locked up on here. You want to be able to wiggle them a little bit, and then you want to look on the cap and on the rod for any signs of heat. Kind of tell you it's getting a bearing or something. Maybe low oil pressure could cause that. All this stuff looks okay other than being covered in sludge. I'm also, I don't know if you guys can see, I'm also kind of trying to look at the camshaft. If I'm being honest, that one right there's got a little bit of a weird wear pattern on it. But I am not changing the camshaft or any of the bearings or anything. So, some people will say that you need to change all that stuff. I'm not even gonna untorque any of this stuff and look at the bearings because me and my tools that I have are not capable of being as accurate as when the factory put that together. So I don't see anything immediately wrong with it. I'm gonna leave it together and just try to run it the way it is. If I start it up and I find out bearings are screwed up or something, then we'll deal with that later. But in my personal opinion, and from all the research I've done, it seems like every time somebody just rolls new bearings in it or swaps the cam and the cam bearings spin or whatever, they don't get the caps torqued right, and it hurts a bearing. So in my opinion, I think for me, the best option is going to be just leave it like it is. We're going to seal it all up with stuff that'll work. And yeah, we're just going to send it. And realistically, I'm not going to make a ton of horsepower this thing. I'll be lucky if it makes 400 ish at the crank. So I'm not too worried about it, is what I'm saying. Okay? It's a very long winded way to say I ain't worried about it. Come on. So, yeah. I guess I'll set you guys back up and go ahead and start slapping that new pan on it. Because I'm not going to fix any of that. I may clean up these gasket surfaces real quick. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, before I get started putting this on, I wanted to show you guys this somewhere on the screen, maybe over here. I'll try to put the link to this or screenshot or something. But this was a pretty cheap kit, and I cannot remember the price off the top of my head. But it's got all new oil pan bolts. This is a drain plug, and then honestly a bunch of hardware. I don't know where it goes. And this is all the hardware you would need for the windage tray, which it comes with. Comes with a pickup tube, and a new O-ring for that, and comes with a gasket. So for not a whole lot of money. The only reason I know it wasn't a whole lot of money is because I know I'm cheap and I wouldn't have paid a whole lot of money. But I'll put it on the screen somewhere. As long as it doesn't leak when I put it together. So far, it seems like it's going to be a pretty good little deal. So I'm going to get you set up, and then we'll start bolting it back together. And look at this. Even got a little thread locker put on it. So you don't want inside the motor stuff falling off. It's a bad day. Trust me. I know. First step is windage tray. One thing I will say about that kit is there's no instructions, which you get what you pay for. So, you know, that's fine. My common sense tells me, mind you, I may not have a lot, but this is where the dipstick tube goes. So that cutout has to be where the dipstick can come out. At least that's what I think. So let's test fit this bad boy. That does not fit at all. Okay. Problem number one. We need to bend something. It's very important to remember this O-ring, because without it, you will probably not have any oil pressure. I wish this had a second hole over here like this one, because these factory oil pumps are actually set up to be able to use a second bolt. But this doesn't have it. Neither does the factory one, for that matter. So how are we gonna make that work? This is the kind of stuff you deal with when you buy cheap parts, and you just got to be willing to make it work. Okay. That, I think, might work. Before I go any further, I'm going to measure this to the mounting surface and check it to the oil pan. Make sure that this is going to be near the bottom of the pan. It's fairly straightforward. Just going to set a straight edge on here, and we will measure this. If I was more prepared, I would have brought like a tape measure or something, but this will work. So this is kind of at an angle. But I'm gonna say it's about 5 3/4. Let's bring this. Make sure you drop some trash in your motor. It's fine. Okay. This is saying 7 inches, which is a problem. Well, I guess it depends on what part of the pan you measure, but it's still, that's not good. That is not good. Well, I take back everything I said about this kit. So, let me do some figuring. I'll be right back. Okay, it's been a little bit. I did some research. This is not the right way to do this, and please don't do yours this way. But you can, oh God. Yeah, so this, listen, it's solid. It's bolted right there. There's a bolt there. This all has red Loctite on it. This is kind of wedged on there. I ended up getting it to where I had about a 1/2 inch of clearance between this and the pan, which is still too much. That would be to like this area of the pan, which is still more than you really want. Most people say you want to be like 1/4 inch to 3/8. 1/2 inch is definitely on the higher end of like the maximum end of where you want to be. But without doing a bunch of modification to this, I didn't want to, I don't know, I didn't really feel like cutting this all apart to gain 1/8 of an inch. So, you know, there's a reason that I have a warning to not do things the way that I do them. And that's it. That's why you don't do what I do. Okay. Next we have oil pan gasket. go just like so. Make sure you put this little tray in and Loctite those bolts so they don't try to fall out. At least hopefully they don't try and fall out. If you've had the front or rear cover off this motor, you need to have them loose when you put the oil pan on so that they will align. Otherwise you will have leaks. But we did not take either of those off, so we should be good on that. Let's try and get this lined up the best we can. I'm very glad that they came with new hardware. That did not help me at all. So there's these two very long bolts that go back here in the back. You have to make sure they're through both sides. And just start lining bolts up, I guess. Okay, just like that, the oil pan is installed. It came with this deal for the oil filter. Hopefully that's right. So let me show you. It came with this one, which was great. I was like, man, that's awesome. Because it just kind of loops that oil circuit. But it came with these bolts. They're too short. And came with these bolts. They're too long. So it also came with a gasket that is made out of metal. So yeah, that's interesting. But luckily I had this squirreled away. And it looks kind of, let me take this out. It looks kind of hack job-ish with this in there, but it just gives you an 1/8 MPT fitting where you can run like an oil pressure gauge. Technically, you could probably run a turbo feed off of that because it'd be pressured oil. This is just in here just to block that off, keep junk out of it. But yeah, that's it. These all went on pretty good. This bolt hole does not line up with a hole. There's not one in the block right there, so we'll just leave it out. That's fine. Everything else lined up pretty good. It came with a drain plug and a grommet for it, so that's nice. I do have extra parts laying here. I don't know what those are for, so we're just gonna hang on to them because at some point I'll probably find out the hard way. Also, almost dropped you guys. That's the sky I had for the last little while. That's what's coming, so that's gonna be fun. So, in saying that, not only is it almost the end of the day, but obviously it's getting ready to storm again. So, I'm gonna get this thing flipped over, and we're gonna toss some more parts on it, and get an idea of what this is gonna look like in its final form, if you will. And we're gonna call it a day. And this is just the beginning. So we got a lot of stuff coming up on the S10, and this is kind of where I got to start. So let me get you set up, and I'm going to try and get some work done before that gets here. Haha, always something. Okay, I don't know if you can hear, it's still storming. At one point, it was raining into the carport. There's a bunch of random cars driving down my cul-de-sac for no reason. And anyway, I'm getting frustrated. I'm tired of working outside in the rain. I had to stop for a minute and try and cover the motor because everything is getting wet all the way back to basically my door. So it is what it is. I'm still super excited, even though it may not have sounded like it just now. I'm also still very dirty. The wind noise is going to be terrible because it is still storming outside. Sorry. I believe me, I wish I was in a nice, quiet garage just like you guys probably wish I was. But I'm going to show you what this thing's going to look like. All of this stuff is just like loosely on there. Nothing is. I was hoping to get further along. I was hoping to get at least like the intake and all that stuff like permanently put on. But at least we got a good idea of what it's gonna look like. A couple issues we may have to resolve at some point, but at least because I bought like the cheapest stuff you can buy, at least I know that most of it's gonna work. At least it's gonna bolt on. We'll see if it works. But let me show you what the motor looks like, and then we'll wrap this deal up. Hopefully this isn't too long or drug out because I don't feel like I got that much done. Bam, there it is. The headers went on okay. They did come with the wrong bolts. They appear to be like small block Chevy header bolts, which is annoying because there's no universe where spread exhaust like that fits a small block Chevy. Anyway, not a big deal. I'm not that upset about it, except for a little bit, maybe a lot. Another issue we may have to address is, I don't know, focus. This collector deal here, how can I? It is incredibly close to the block right there. So that I don't know what we're gonna do about that yet. I may cut those off and put V-bands on it. I haven't decided yet. Intake, it's just loosely thrown on there, but I think it's gonna work. This header seems okay. This side, the clearance to the plugs seems pretty good. If we come over to this side, this you can't even see it. That plug right there is gonna be a headache. You can kind of see my fingers in line with the tip of the spark plug. This dipstick that came with it, I don't think it's gonna work anyway. I do have a low car one that's flexible, so we're probably gonna end up with that one because that one already seems to be just doesn't line up very good. So no big deal, it is what it is. All the other ones, the plug wire and plug access seems decent. But yeah, that's kind of what we got. So I'm pretty excited about this. I've never, hang on. the typical YouTube use your shirt to clean your lens action here. Oh, hey, there I am. I've never actually gotten this far on an LS swap, if I'm being honest. I've tried it twice in the past, and just life has happened. It just didn't get there. So, one of them, thank you, COVID, for that deal. Uh, Whatever. It is what it is. I feel like we're gonna get somewhere on this one, though. Like I said, I already have the electronic controller for the MSD deal for the ignition control. We've already got a carburetor and all that stuff. There's obviously still quite a bit of stuff we're gonna need, um, but we're headed in the right direction. So I think in probably 3 weeks or so, 3 to 4 weeks, we should be sliding this thing in the truck. I've already got motor mounts. Next week, we're gonna dig into that power glide sitting there, see what we can figure out on it, and I should have all the stuff to make that up to the motor already. So we should be able to put it all in as one unit. All of it is very unknown, and I bought it as cheap as I could. So could very well all have to come back out, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Yeah. So that's where we're at. I am super happy about this. Uh, I'm having a hard time showing it today because this weather and everything is just driving me crazy. But thank you for watching. As long as I keep up with the videos, it'll keep pushing me to keep working on this stuff. We should. I don't know what's coming up with the C10. It needs some little stuff. I don't know if it's stuff worth making a video on, but we'll see about all that. Okay, I'm gonna quit rambling. Don't forget to check out the Shopify store. It's in the description. There is some stuff that I think is pretty cool on there, such as this little throttle body cover that I made. Works perfect when you gotta store your motor in a only semi-covered area and you gotta keep the moisture out. Also, my hand is getting tired because I'm not a very good YouTuber, and that's the first time I've ever called myself a YouTuber. That feels gross. Anyway, yeah, there's some other cool stuff on there, so if you want to just check it out, that's cool. Thank you for liking and subscribing and all that stuff. I've said it a million times, but you guys keep me coming out here working, even when the weather goes to complete crap and I'm really not having that good of a time. But bad day working on cars is better than, well, most good days anywhere else. So, thanks for checking this out. I'll see you guys next time. Have a good weekend, and bye. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.